Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is a very exciting day. I suppose that's what I've started out with many of my videos to say, but the reality of it is today is a really exciting day. If you can see behind me right over here, I've got a freeze dryer. Those of you who have followed my channel over the years, you'll know that last year I got myself a freeze dryer, and the second half of last year I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how it works and figure out what I can use it for, what kind of dishes goes well with the freeze dryer and what does not. I also had some issues with the freeze dryer. It was just taking too long to freeze dry things. We were up at about 72 hours. But that's a totally different kind of story. I have a small video about the freeze dryer. If you want to check that out, go take a look. But today is a very exciting day because I think it was actually the very first batch I ever made. I would try various different kind of things right off the back. I just was impatient, so I didn't want to do one batch with only one thing. I did a lot of different things. And one of the things I did was I freeze dried pork chop. Now, this is a whole pork chop, and it has been in this packaging for the past 7 months, 6-7 months. And it's just been lying around. I wanted to try and test out how it works to hydrate these pork chops. This is a raw pork chop, but I wanted to bring you along, and I didn't really quite know how to do it. So I actually just decided to jump straight out into it. I've never tried it before, but one of the things that I said I really appreciate when I'm out on my trips, and it was one of the reasons why I got the freeze dryer in the first place, is the ability not just to eat because of survival, not just to eat because it's edible. I want to eat because it is delicious. I want to go out on my trips and having the cravings. And a grilled pork chop, just to mention one solution, could be it. So today I'd like to bring you along and to make a quick dish and to see how this works. I'm really keen on knowing how this one is going to play out. There's a little bit of a yellow thing here. I just caught that off. I don't know what that is. Maybe the fat has got a little bit of moist. Anyway, that's the pork chop. Here, very, very dry. It is like cardboard. I was really curious to see how this works, but to make a fair comparison, I wanted to bring in a fresh one versus this one that has been freeze dried. But I want to try 2 different kind of versions tonight because I'm a little bit hungry for some of my favorite child dishes, which was made in a little bit of alu folio on the fire pit. And I will use this for that, but I also like to see how it looks like if it's just plain straight barbecued. So to do that, I want to split this up in 2. Look at this. Totally dry. Now, all you got to do to get this back to the state, allegedly, that it was before I started the freeze drying, is to put it in water. So that's what we got to do. Now, because this is a big chunk of meat, it's not just like the normal average freeze-dried meat that you might bring on you on the camping site. This need more than the average 10 minutes that those meals need. It probably need about 1 hour. So I'll go out and I'll get my fire pit ready, and I will get the other ingredients ready for my little dish, and then I'll be back to you after an hour, and let's see how this works. To hydrate this, that they made really tasty, actually, I forgot to mention that. But that is if you, for instance, have a solution of knorr. So you have this pork or beef flavor, or whatever you want, vegetable flavors you want in your pork chops. Then when they are absorbing the water, they're absorbing all the flavors as well. Now I just did this plain and straight with water because I wanted it to have something to compare with these ones here. Now, if you look at these here, there is definitely a huge difference in texture, a huge difference. It's quite clear. I'm interesting to see how it works. I was actually expecting this to be much more like the original rather than a pretty pale and spongy kind of texture to it. Anyway, I will wrap them up in the packages and we will see how it turns out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grill these here directly on fire, spice them up a little bit, and I'll take these two here, each in one package, and then I want to see how they work. So what I got to do is just take one of these here, and we'll start with some vegetables here. Bit of onion, bit of red, yellow, green pepper here, bell peppers. Let me just take a look here. It's just different colors for different flavors, or for the eye, that is. And then I really like some garlic here, so what I got to do is just take one of these garlic and, oh, I can't do that with my hands, I'll do that with a knife. Just squish them a little bit here. Just got to watch out, this knife here is really, really sharp. And then I want to add a little bit of pepper. But first, I'd actually like to add a little bit of oil. Grease it up a little bit here. Then I want to add a little bit of pepper. A little bit of salt. Not too much. Take it here. All right, and then we will take, without doing anything special to it, I'll just let all the flavors from the garlic, from the vegetables and the onion, salt and pepper as it is, let that soak into things. Oh, hold on a second, we'll just have to mix it up a little bit with the oil. So, there we are. Put this one on the top. And now all we got to do is just wrap this up in a package that is sealed for no moist or anything to come out of here. There you are. That was the first package. I'll do that with the second one, and then we'll see you by the... So there's no doubt about it. This is the original bok chop. Obviously, it's more fresh looking, and the other one here is the freeze-dried one that we have hydrated. Our two packages there, which contain one with the hydrated version and one with the fresh version, will then stay there, and I suppose about for a half an hour. Usually if you're just doing it with the vegetables, it will just take like 15-20 minutes and it will be all good. There's a very good heat here, so I gotta watch out a little bit, but I think it's going to be just fine. It's the normal pork chop that I just bought by the butcher, and this is the freeze-dried pork chop that I had for 6-7 months just lying freeze-dried in my office actually. So it's like 30 average, I'd say 30 degrees Celsius every day. What's really interesting is to figure out what is the difference here. It is a very dry one. Well, let's just take a look here. Oi, 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 oi. Uh-oh. Huh. I'm going well here. But I want it. So a little bit of ash is not gonna make any difference here. Nothing much, it's all healthy. So let's just see if I can cut this. It's been cooking a little bit too long. But if you look at the difference, there we are, there we are. There's a huge difference. I mean, you can see how the freeze-dried one is very dark, it's kind of beige, I would say, while the fresh pork chop is definitely looking more like the normal thing, which it also obviously should do. The question is now, how does it taste? Gosh, it's dry. That's incredible.
Yeah. It tastes like pork chop. But it is very, very dry. Really looking forward to see how it looks like when we're cooking it together with the vegetables. And I'll definitely say, even without trying it yet, I think that's the way to go to, because otherwise these just becomes way too dry. I don't know if you can see it, but even the juices falls out of these fresh pork chops here. It doesn't compare. There's definitely a different class of freshness to the fresh one compared to the freeze-dried. It was a bit disappointing, really. When I'm freeze-drying food, the other dishes I do, they literally do taste right up in the same quality as if it was freshly made, even though I might have made my rice dish 5 months before. And that included vegetables, rice and meat. But these whole cuts here, I mean, they work, and they work better than so many other things you could have out there, but they're nothing like the real deal. All right, but let me see if we got the packages done now and see how it looks like if we are steaming the meat instead. All right, let's see what we got here. This is from back in my young days when I was a Boy Scout in Denmark. Was one of my absolute favorite dishes. So easy to do, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the day that the camera filming is not just 360 or something else, but actually is also about the taste or the scent of it, if that's ever gonna happen. But this is extremely nice. So let me just see. I mean, there's a little too little fluid in here compared to what I thought. What you can do is you can add some butter to it. I just chose just to do so. The oil. Okay. Now, the vegetables are perfect. They are, like the Italians would say, al dente. I can't be bothered spoiling the fun and dropping this all over the place, so I'll just take a bite of this meat here and see how that is in comparison to the grilled version. It is better. It is still very dry, but it is it's definitely better than grilling it. Now, if you're going to use this out on some hiking trips, I would probably do this either like a vegetable dish like this one here, or to get more value out of the meat, I would probably use it in a soup or something like boiling it together with that. But the idea that you can bring this along, a whole cut, and you can actually make yourself some proper meat, fantastic. Oi, oi, oi. Look at this. Oof. And this one has got more fluids to it as well. Oh, that looks good. That looks fantastic. Oh boy, oh boy. Let me just get one of these here. The pork. Well, I'm not even sure the pork is done yet. Yeah, maybe it is. Take a bite and see. Yeah. Nice done. The difference between the fresh pork and the freeze-dried pork is not so pronounced in this one here as if you're doing the grilling. That's quite interesting. Quite like the freeze-dried version. It is much more juicy than on the grilled version here because it's absorbed all the steam from the vegetables and the oil and everything put in there. Well, anyway guys, just like to share with you what can be done with a good freeze dryer. I know it's not for everybody to have one, but this is one of the reasons why I bring this out. It's not just to show what you can do with it, but also because I like to have some input from you if you have some ideas to what to use with a freeze dryer. When I got the investment back last year, obviously it was not just to be able to bring out some good food whenever I go on trips. I don't have a big garden, so I can't use it as a way of storing my vegetables and whatnot. It has always been in the interest of bringing freeze-dried food out to somebody else. There are certain brands on the markets, and they're not that bad, but I find them a bit expensive, and I believe it can be done cheaper than that. But if you have some special interest, you have a special wish, if there's something you really like to see done, hit me up in the comment section and I'll see what I can do. I love to cook. So until next time, stay curious.